Hello and welcome back. Today we have the high grade Gundam build metaverse Shin Burning Gundam from Bandai Namco. I picked this up a couple months ago now. I have no idea about anything about this Gundam itself, except it just looked really cool. I love all the effects that seem to come with this, but I'm finally sitting down to build this. I thought we'd take a look at it before I did so. So here we have Shin Burning Gundam. It's a high grade 1 in 144 scale. If you're unsure on what that means, it basically means if I had 144 of these stacked on top of each other, they would be the same size as the real life Gundam. It's been made by Bandai Namco, recommended for ages 8 plus. We have some really nice artwork of Shin Burning Gundam there, with a flaming sword and effects wings. On the side we have, well, the bottom, we have details on the figure. Apparently it comes with various hand parts. It has movable wings, various FX parts. On the other side we have the artwork again, well, along with a QR code. On the top, picture of the model, QR code for a Gundam build metaverse. I have no idea what that is, but you're welcome to pause, take a shot at the QR code and give it a try yourselves. Legal barcode. And then another picture of the Shin Gundam. On the back is plain cardboard. Like other Gundams, it comes wrapped in a couple of basic cellophane sheets. So let's take these off. Let's take a look at what we actually get inside the packaging. So, straight out the box we get a lot of plastic, more plastic, and paper. No, I kid. We get our instructions and all of our various parts that will be needed to build this figure. Looks like there's some decals to apply. Let's take a look at the instructions before we move on. So we get a picture of our Shin Gundam here. Some background info on the Gundam and I guess one of the main characters from this particular season or series. I'm not quite sure what series this belongs to. I've only seen a couple of bits of Gundam here and there, and I couldn't tell you much about them, to be perfectly honest. I collect these more to build and look cool on my shelf rather than a representation of a series I particularly enjoy. Although I am trying to learn more about the franchises and watch various ones, but I really don't know what this one belongs to at all. The instructions fold out. The back is in colour and looks at attaching the various FX parts. There's legal and warnings. And then we have a huge fold out of instructions to follow. So let's put these instructions to one side, get this plastic open, get it laid out and see where we begin. Okay, here we have our plastic. We get various sprues with various colours. We get a couple of sprues in some sort of very matte grey. It's not quite a black, it's definitely a sort of muted grey. We get some parts in red, and that seems to be the bulk of our build. Some yellow. Get some interesting blue purple, some more grey. Yeah, white for various parts of the build. And then we get some really nice pearlescent clear blue parts. I don't know how well it comes up on camera, but these are, they're definitely a pearlescent colour. They're clear blue, but the pearlescence gives them almost a metallic-y look as well in certain lights, which looks really nice. And it's not that dissimilar for these bits, which are in a sort of peach pearlescent colour. But again, they have sort of a nice reflective sheen to them. They look really nice. So the first thing I'm going to do is just double check that we have all the parts we're expecting to have. And then I'm going to consider whether I'm going to actually panel line anything to begin with. Originally I said to myself I wasn't going to panel line, I was just going to assemble. But looking at things, I might do some panel lining and some painting to bring this out in full force. So we should have sprues A and B. So A, B, C, D, yeah, that's part of sprue A, E, A, B, C, D, E. We don't have a sprue F for some reason, but we get G, 1 and 2, H, H2, I. Oh no, that is sprue F. I missed it. Blind. There we go. And then that is sprue PC. I was counting PC, but there is an A up there. So we have everything we need. Originally, I hadn't planned on panel lining this one. I was just going to assemble it and see how it looked. However, having opened it, I do feel there's apps which are going to be needed to really bring this out. So I think I'm going to go away and do some touches there just to bring things out. I think there's some panel lining throughout these bits that could help bring some bits out. I'm not so sure about the greys. I don't think there's too much there, but the whites need it. And in fact, I think I'm going to have a look at the instructions, but I think I might even end up doing some painting on this before we assemble. So for things like the sword, if you look down here, the sword has gold ends and a black handle, whereas this has been done in a pure white. So I'm going to have a look at the instructions, see what it does and see what assembles where, but I do think that there's going to be some paint apps applied to this before we look at assembly. So I'm going to take a look at that off camera and then we'll be back later. And we're back. So what did I do? First off, I panel lined all of the white with a Citadel shade Nuln oil. You can see all I've done is just drop it into the recesses. Any overspill I cleaned up with a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol. I did similar on the red parts, but I used a crimson shade, and while it doesn't show up anywhere near as much, I did the same on the grey with Nuln oil. I've also had to paint a couple of bits. The sword was originally a solid white. I've cleaned this up with silver on the blade, some gold and black. Same with the sheath, and again the same with the fire sword, which was just a solid clear pearlescent peach type colour. But now I can actually get down to assembly. So first up is the head. For this we're going to need D2. All I've got in terms of tools is a pair of clippers and a nail file just to sand down any rough edges. Hopefully there shouldn't be many or any. So D2. D2. Page 16. Page 16. I3. I3. Then C1, 6 and 7. C1, 6, 7. C1, 6, 7. If you're not familiar with these at all you need is the clippers, and you just line the flat edge rather than the deep edge against the plastic and just snip like that. And then they should get a nice clean cut. Sometimes you get a bit of a rough edge and you want to either trim it up or just get a piece of sandpaper and just smooth it down. C6, 7. And 1. There we go. And then it's simply a case of following the instructions through. This one does have some decals, which I've got in the box. You might want some tweezers for this. Just a pair of tweezers. Just gently peel off the decal with the tip. Get the part in question. Make sure it's up the right way. And then apply the decals as needed. This is always the tricky part. Now, of course, if you're talented enough, unlike me, you could even go the route of just painting these onto rather than using the decals, but I neither have the steady enough hands or the skill to get that to a way that I would be happy with it on display. So that's that decal on, and then there's another one which will go on the back of the head, and that is number 7. No, sorry, it's number 10. It's the small one. Yeah. There we go. And number 7 will also need it on the front. That's that. Now we'll just get to assembly. So D2 plugs into the face mask, which plugs into the back of the heads. Front slides over and pushes together nice and firmly. Then the crown, and then finally that is the head assembled. Now this is going to be quite a lengthy one with lots of bits and pieces to do, so I think instead of having an hour-long video of me sitting in silence doing this, I'm going to cut to the finished product. But so you get an idea, it's literally just a case of following the instructions bit by bit, nothing to it. So I will see you in a bit. And here we have the completed Shin Burning Gundam, all fully assembled. I've panel lined the figure, as you can see. I've had to paint these bits and the swords, which I'll cover in a bit. Accessories wise, it comes with the 2 swords. This one, which was originally in just a plain white plastic, same as the other white parts you can see here. However, I've now painted that in silver and gold and black. It comes with 2 FX parts, which can be used in the mode or on the figure. So these just plug into the foot like that, and then the bigger one can go onto the hands. I haven't got the right hand on for that, but that goes on there. Fit this back on. There we go, it just goes on a clip there. It also comes with a total of what do we get? We get 1, 2, 3, 4 different sets of pairs of hands. You get the posed hands like this, flat palms, fists, and you get ones which grip. For the gripping ones, you just pop this off, pop the weapon into the hand, and then replace the metal, the cover. All of them are on just ball joints with hinges, so they just literally pop out and pop back on, and you get a nice range of movement from them. It comes with the wings at the back, which are fully articulated and posable. They also give you the possibility of posing it in an alternate mode, so you can pop the wings off and just separate them with a little bit of friction. They're literally just on pegs, so they just pop off like that, and then they will go either side using, so that piece comes off, and then they go either side using this piece, goes over the shoulder, and then it reattaches like so. Should reattach like so. Reattaches like so. Same as this side. Just pop them apart. That will plug into there. That plugs on there. This plugs down here, and then the idea is that they are supposedly supposed to be able to connect together. I think I might have the wings on the wrong way. Let's try. Oh, head popped off. That's fine, that's fixable. I should go like that. That goes like that. We'll see, so the wings, these keep popping off. They're incredibly fiddly. So the wings will eventually pop on like that, and you can have a shield effect. I doubt I'm going to pose them like that. Everything's on just pegs, so they do just pop in and out nice and easy. I'm going to leave these off for now. Put those to one side and take our head and pop that back on. It's on a ball joint. Range of movement. Everything's essentially on pegs and ball joints, so you get a real full range of movement. Head gets a full rotation. The backpack has hinges here and here for the wings, and the wings will turn because of the pegs. Arms can come out. The shoulders are on a ball joint, so they get full range of movement. If they do pop out, you can pop them back in. We'll move up and move up. Double joints at the elbows, hinges and ball joint at the wrists. We get a ball joint here at the base, and there is another one under here, so you get range of movement there. Legs go forward. Assuming they don't pop off. Okay. Range of movement there. Back that far out, you essentially get a full split, near enough. Double hinge at the knees and full articulation at the shins and ankles. So you do get a really nice range of movement here. You can get a full sense of posability out of them. Joints aren't... Okay, that may have proven my point wrong. But the joints aren't loose. Yeah. Joints aren't loose, so you get stability on the figure. Pose is nice enough. You get a full range of movement. You get some really nice poses out of him. So this is now my 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th build. It's 9th build and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th different model. I'm enjoying these. My only real frustration is they tend to be quite fiddly in terms of things popping off or not staying where they should. But I think that's down to the size of these with the level of articulation and details they have. My thoughts on this burning Gundam. I really like the look of it. I really love the translucent blues throughout. My only problem is these ones are darker than these. I think that's because that's a blue on red rather than that's a blue on white. But it's a minor niggle there. Otherwise, I really do love the look of this. I love the mixture of the red and the blues. I love the burning FX parts throughout. It was a really fun build. There was nothing tricky or fiddly with it. No confusion over parts, which sometimes can happen. It's rare, but if you're not paying 100% attention, sometimes it gets a nice range of accessories. In terms of accessories, this is my biggest complaint with the figure, is that the weapons were completely unpainted. This was a plain white, and to get it matching the product, I've had to paint this black and gold and silver. This was completely translucent, so I had to do the same with the handle. It's minor. It didn't really bother me in terms of doing it. I enjoyed it well enough. Oh, and the sheath for the sword as well. That's on a hinge which moves up and down. But yeah, having to paint those was a little frustrating, solely because I feel that they were things that could have been solved in assembly alone. So this piece was originally yellow, and it just clips on. These two push together, and then that clips over the top and holds them in place. I feel that if that had just been the grey plastic like this, and these had been two yellow bits which slotted over and held it together, that would have been fine. And then if you wanted to customize it and bring it out in the gold or whatever, you could have. The sword, I feel, should have been cast in at least this grey plastic rather than the white. It looks odd and out of place in the white unless you touch it up. And this, I feel you could have done something with in terms of maybe having multiple bits pushed together. It probably would have pushed up the price cost on it, I guess, which is maybe why we don't. But it was the only real disappointing factor on this. Some of the joints here I am finding with the review are a little sensitive. I don't know if it's because my hands are a little bad today, so I don't know if that's particularly why I'm having more problems than usual. I do love these FX pieces. I doubt I'll use them in display, but I think they're a nice touch. Overall, I'm really happy to have this model. I really enjoyed building it. My only real frustration was the fact that I don't think the weapons should have been cast the way they did, and I think improvements could have been made there, but it's minor. I've made the amendments myself and I'm happy with how it's turned out. So yeah, there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be back soon.